Morning! Spurs! Yep, it's that time of year again, unfortunately. Spurs away. No one wants Spurs away, but Spurs away is necessary, unfortunately. We have to play it. We have to go to their shiny new ground and hopefully score our first ever goal there. Yes, that's actually true, genuinely. Man City have not scored at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, which is a terrible name, by the way. I always think, is that actually right? No, we haven't scored there. We haven't scored there. So this time, hopefully, we will break that deadlock. Because we got Erling Haaland. Hello to people in the chat already. Hello to who we got here. We got PM saying, yes, mate. We got Bill ABC TV. We've got Sean Fogarty. We've got Tone. We've got Bradley, the body count. Thank you very much for the nice words. Dropbox as well and PM saying, morning, you sexy man. Morning, you sexy commenter. Thank you very much, man. Like, very kind of you, you know. I've had a haircut, can you tell? I'm looking surprisingly fresh, if I don't say so myself, given the fact that I've barely slept, because of that is the life of a parent these days. But other than that, I won't be sleeping because I'll be thinking about Manchester City going away at Spurs. Morning, Liam, as well. How's everyone feeling about this game? Of course, do let me know down in the comments. Do let me know with the like button or the dislike button, whatever. Do let me know if you're looking forward to this game and your predictions and all that kind of stuff. And we'll go through some of your comments during this video. I'm a bit apprehensive. This game has got an awful lot riding on it. I feel like I say that a lot at the moment about every game being big, but it does feel big, man. It does feel big, and it does feel like, you know, every game right now has got so much context around it. Like, there's always something happening, be it you know, poor performance here, or big win, or Guardiola comment, or you know, a chase in the title race. It's just, there's always something going on, and right now it does feel like we sort of do need like a big performance. It does feel that way. We can't deny it. I mean, obviously the context of this game is that we beat Arsenal. It feels like a long time ago now, by the way. A week yesterday against Arsenal. It was 1-0 in the FA Cup, of course. Before that, there was a comfortable 3-0 victory against Wolves, which was good. And of course, before that, we beat Spurs 4-2. It was actually that Spurs game, even though we won 4-2. It wasn't good in the first half, but the second half we were much better with Alvarez, Haaland and Mahrez grabbing a brace. It was the Spurs game, if you remember rightly, a couple of weeks back, where Guardiola actually come out and talked about, he did that now infamous speech already about the happy flowers and about how Manchester City don't have the right hunger and passion at the moment. And he essentially called out his team. So it was that 2 weeks ago. Since then, the results have been decent. Of course, we won 4-2, we won 3-0, we won 1-0 in the FA Cup against Arsenal. The football hasn't been scintillating, but the performances haven't been too bad, you know. So there's been a slight reaction. And Guardiola, of course, chose that Spurs game to talk to the players for a reason. Now, once again, this is important. I know we keep saying this, but it is. We've got Arsenal in 2 weeks. We've got Spurs, then Villa, then Arsenal. We need to try and lay a finger on Arsenal. We need to keep up that pressure. We need to be near them come this game. And if we are, look, the pressure is then on Arsenal more than it is on Manchester City, in my personal opinion. At the Emirates, with us hopefully breathing down their necks, even if we're not playing great, they will sense some sort of fear here, because it's hard not to, man. It's hard not to. Like, they're only human beings, and like the more you put on them, you know, emotionally, the more you make them question themselves and question their drive. And if you can get there, well, the more likely they are to make a mistake. Having said that, you know, it doesn't mean necessarily that's going to happen. But if we look at the context of this game, you know, It's been a long time since City played. Like, a week feels a long time in football these days, especially when you support a City side that's usually playing every 3 or 4 days, which means, like, you know, it could be that City do turn up, that Guardiola's got some master plan. It could be that he's over 40 and, you know, he's tired the players out mentally and it's not going to work. I think it's more likely to be the former than the latter. I do actually think right now, given that Cancelo's gone and given that Guardiola's had a week on the training pitch with the players, you know, and of course Maximo Peroni, by the way, who's the young Argentinian lad who's joined the team now, he's joined the first team training. So a new face is always nice. It kind of gets everyone, you know, energetic, and it makes everyone professional, by the way. Like when you have someone, do you know when you have someone new that turns at work, you want to look, good in front of them. Like I do think the impact of a young new player around the dressing room can actually make everyone, focus a little bit. But yeah, given the fact that we've had a week on the training ground, a week to really reassess our goals this season, I'm hoping we'll see a reaction. I'm hoping we'll see a hungry Manchester City. Manchester City with something to prove, That City side has been written off by an awful lot of people right now, and it is. You see it in the media, people saying City aren't quite as good as they are, and Arsenal, of course, getting loads of plaudits. Chelsea getting loads of plaudits for spending money, which is crazy. And Guardiola, of course, had lots to say about that. So, I don't know. Like, it's going to be interesting. And no Conte as well, allegedly, according to Tone. Yeah, I think he's been a bit unwell, hasn't he, Conte? Obviously, I wish the best for him. Hopefully he gets well soon. But he might not be on the sidelines for this one. No, this is going to be interesting. I wouldn't be asking my Everton Arsenal prediction. Look, the reason this is interesting is because Arsenal are going to batter him. Why are we acting like, that Everton are going to lay a finger on Arsenal? They're not, man. Like, he's no miracle worker, Sean Dyche. He isn't. It's 12, so things may change. And I think I've got a friend of mine coming around who's an Everton fan, actually. So at 12 o'clock. So maybe I'll be chatting to him about this potentially. I might put it on the background as well for him to watch in pain and suffer as we chat and play with our children. But we'll see. But either way, yeah, they're going to win, Arsenal. Of course they are. With all due respect to Sean Dyche, you can't fix Arsenal that quickly. Arsenal flying right now. They'll be difficult and up for it, but no, I don't know. I don't think so. I know he's the new manager bounce, but he's not that good. Look, Joe, I want to be wrong for what it's worth. I fucking love to be wrong, man. Like, I want the City to obviously win the league, but I just don't see it. I don't see it. So let's talk about Spurs. Before, I'd like to talk about this competition over at Football Prizes. If you want to win a Jack Grealish signed and framed Man City shirt, it's a one-of-a-kind prize. I think most of the tickets have gone already, so you've got to be quick. It ends on Monday the 6th of February at 7:30pm. Costs a few quid to enter, but I know loads of people who won this competition. Loads of people who've been winning who follow Esteemed Kompany. I get messages every once a month, people going, "Oh, Steve, I won the competition, so thanks very much for putting it out." If you want to win, you want to enter and win a signed Grealish shirt, click the link in the description below and you can enter. Fingers crossed you do, because the draw will be next week. Football Prizes are totally legit. Do not worry about it. It's all good. I know the guy who runs it. It's very, very good. 75 tickets are sold already. Only 60 more, I think. So go and good luck. Good luck to all those who enter. It's a wonderful competition. Fingers crossed you're the one who wins. Right. So let's look at Spurs' performances. So Spurs currently sit. Why is... What's going on here? Why is it? Oh, there we go. Spurs currently sitting 5th. They are on 36 points. They are 3 points behind United, but United have got a game in hand. They are currently 9 points behind us once we've got a game in hand. It doesn't feel like they're going to get top 4 this season. It feels to me like the top 4 is already probably set, genuinely. Look, there is many things that could happen. Chelsea could go on a massive winning streak with all the new signings. I highly doubt it right now, but they could do. Spurs could find some form. Look at Fulham and Brighton in 6th. Look at that. Fulham, Brighton, Brentford. Don't you love to see it, by the way? Like, as a football fan, and I'm not trying to patronise it because I know City are one of the big bad guys now who spends loads of money, but you do love to see it, don't you? I mean, look at Chelsea, Liverpool propping up Brentford, Brighton, Fulham. I'd hate it if City were down there, but I'd be happy for the other teams as well at the same time, if that makes sense. Because you've got to be happy for teams like Fulham, Brighton, Brentford who are really well run. Especially when they haven't got the budget that we've got. We're very lucky. So, yeah, fair fucking play to them, man. But, yeah, Spurs. So, Spurs currently sat, in 5th. It's a weird one with Spurs because they're not having a diabolical season. They've only won 11 out of 21. They've lost 7 games, that's the thing. If they had a few more draws, it wouldn't be too bad. By the way, any members, have you noticed... I've updated the little things, so you've got City badges. I've realised, though, and this Leicester fan channel... I've gone from the old badges to the new badges to eventually my logo, but I forgot that not everyone who's a member is a City fan, so it's sort of kind of, sorry Ant, but you've got an old City badge next to your name there. Apologies, pal. But I thought I'd do that, but I don't know if it's a good idea or not. I can change it if not, but but Sean, for example, has got my logo next to him because he's been here forever because Sean's a fucking legend. But yeah, anyway, like the weird thing with Spurs is I spoke to a few Spurs fans and you see them on Twitter and stuff and they're not happy in the slightest. Like their form has been, it's like their form has been so indifferent. I mean, I think if they had a few more draws, they'd be happier, but the football has been pretty poor as well at the same time. They did beat Preston the other day 3-0, but before that, of course, they beat Fulham, which was a good performance for them, good victory for them, but it took a bit of Harry Kane magic. And the Spurs, they weren't particularly like flying that day. This is how they played, by the way, with Romero, Dyer, Ben Davis, then Bentancur alongside Højbjerg, and Emerson and Perisic, and Kulusevski, Son and Kane. Of course, they have just signed Pedro Porro as well, who's a flying wing-back from Manchester City. I think did we have a buyback? We had a buyback, so he could have been a City player, but they signed him, so I think he'll play in this game. But this is how they roughly line up these days. They are a wing-back-led team. They did play us, of course, and they weren't particularly great against us. This is how they lined up here that day as well. Pretty much the same. Son, Kulusevski, Kane, Perisic, Bentancur, Højbjerg, Emerson, Davis, Dyer, Romero. You get the drift, basically. You get the drift. They are going to play basically this, and they're going to play Pedro Porro probably at right back. He's probably going to get an assist as well, SDL. You're probably right, my friend. Expressions has been livid. Yeah, Expressions is a Spurs fan. It's been livid according to Tone. Look, yeah, it doesn't surprise me. Their football has been kind of like turgid at times. It hasn't been the most fun to watch, and they were pretty poor against us. They scored a couple of goals, but they weren't great against us. It was really weird. Like, they had that weird spell right at the end of the first half when everyone... I don't think we were that bad, in the first half of that game, but they scored, and obviously we lost our heads. But then we turned it around, And this day, that's how we played against last time, by the way. It was Ederson, Lewis, Stones, Akanji, Ake, Gundogan, Rodri, Mahrez, Alvarez, Grealish, and Haaland. Could see something similar, but I expect De Bruyne will play. We'll get onto that in a bit. Danjuma could play as well, which is a good point. How do we think they'll play, by the way? So if Danjuma, if you look how they played against Arsenal when they lost, this is how they played. They had actually some good shots. They had shots for that, by the way. Arsenal, I think, were value, and they had a few long-range shots, but they had a decent little, spell against Arsenal. So where would Danjuma play? Because you don't want to drop Kulusevski or Son, do you? Because I love Kulusevski, by the way. I think he's a phenomenal player, and I would love it if City found a way to get him. I really rate him. I think he could be trained into a De Bruyne kind of air, personally, but but I don't think it's going to happen. But I think he could be. But Danjuma, I think will probably be on the bench on this one. I think he'll come on. I think with Kian, I think it's right. I think it'll be Porro instead of Emerson Royale, and I think in general it'll be Danjuma on the bench. Doherty's gone, hasn't he, now, and he was nowhere near good enough. That was a much changed side. I think we'll see, probably something like that. Something like Porro coming in and Danjuma on the bench. I'm going to look at their team news right now and see what's going on with them. Who's available? Richarlison's, I think, back potentially, and Lucas Moura could be back as well. I think Pedro Porro's going to play. Jed Spencer's gone on loans and rounds, and Doherty's had his contract terminated. Did he sign for Atletico Madrid? Is that right? Is that actually right? Has Doherty gone to Atletico Madrid? I just read that somewhere. I mean, surely not. Matt Doherty. Fuck me, he landed on his feet there, didn't he? Are they trying to get a Trippier 0.2? Jesus Christ, that's a hell of a... No way, he's landed on his feet there. Fair play to Doherty, man. He has indeed. Maybe they thought he would just be Kieran Trippier in second. I don't think he's got to be, mate. I'll be honest with you. That's a hell of a signing for them. So, yeah, the Spurs are, they're a decent team, but they're not in great form, and the football has been relatively predictable, with moments of magic from Kane bailing them out. Now, Guardiola was talked a lot about, he talked a lot about Cancelo, by the way, so we'll go through the Cancelo quotes. He said, first of all, wish him the very best. He was basically very nice. Said after the World Cup we made a pre-season and decided to play some patterns different. I like what I watch. I give more time to other players, and his personality and fine, he loves to play. He trains the best, but the situation is he doesn't play much. So he wants to play every game. Basically, Guardiola's been very nice there. He's been very calm, and he sent him, he basically talked about it just being a slight disagreement with playing time. I think there's more to it than that, if we're being honest. But, he's right to be kind of like calm there, not blow up, given that he could potentially come back. He was asked about Chelsea spending. He said, none of my business. It's a surprise because it's not a club state. Is he on about state-owned club there, which is very piffy, and I appreciate that. He said, we won 11 titles in the last 5 years, being one of the 5 or 6 next 5 or 6 net spend teams in the Premier League. He's come out basically defending Manchester City's spending, which is, do you know what? He's fucking right for one. For the last 5-6 years, City have not been the highest spenders by a long stretch. We haven't. I know we spent well at quite a lot at some point, but it has slowed down, and City have been a lot more reasonable. And City have sort of spent what they've earned, if we're being honest. You know, they have earned not what they've earned and what they've earned the right to spend. I would say. What I mean by that is, if you win the Premier League and you reach Champions League finals and you win the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup and you win lots of trophies, you get a right to fucking spend money because you reinvest, you know. People talk about like, you know, net spend being a good thing. It is sometimes, but great businesses don't break even. You know, they invest. You know, great football teams invest in their side. Like, you should always be investing in your side. Like, okay, you shouldn't be operating at a massive loss, but you shouldn't always be breaking even on transfers if you're Manchester City. Because all that means is you're selling a lot of players and you're not buying a lot of players. Like, I don't agree, like, great teams should be having a zero net spend. I just don't agree with that at all. Like, it's not how it is. Yeah, as Adam just said, you're a sustainable club now. If you compete at the top, you can spend more. Also, smart business with sales and selling causes in players. Like, it's net spend always, all it means is that you're losing your best players sometimes, you know. So there's an element of a truth to it, but it's not like desirable for a big club to have negative net or zero net spend, because it isn't, in my personal opinion. Anyway, I think Guardiola, he came out a little bit firing about the Chelsea thing, saying, he said something, I can't find the quote, but he said, what would happen if City spent that money? And he said, well, we know 8 or 9 teams write a letter to the Premier League to try and ban us, which is genuinely true. So, you know, he was asked about positive changes since the Spurs game. He said, what was the result? If we lost or drew, it would be a bad result. I know the team, and it doesn't matter what happens. All decisions we take is for the best. I don't know what he's on about there. He's been a little bit, touchy a little bit. He talked about Conte. There we go. He says, what would the reaction be if you spent £550 million? He said, I know it. I'll never forget that 8 or 9 teams in the Premier League sent letters to get us banned. So there we go. He said, Man City being the last 5th or 6th in the Premier League for net spending. We won 11 trophies, 4 Premier League titles in 5 years. With what Chelsea have done is none of my business. We know what we are working with. What Chelsea, Arsenal, Liverpool, United do without good players, you have to spend. Now the market is wow. But what they do is not my business. There are regulations. So, you know, it's interesting, isn't it? He talked about Spurs' better record against us. He said they were better than us. When we were there, we played good, but we missed penalties. They don't give you anything before, and now with Conte, they're a tough opponent. They're always there for titles, a tough place to go. He also confirmed as well that Stones has been ruled out, which is a shame. For 3 to 4 weeks. Basically, he's out for about a month, which is a massive blow, you know. It's a massive blow. It's not ideal, is it? It really isn't. And of course, as well, he talked about Phil Foden being back, which is good news, you know. Very good news. He said, I prefer to play Phil in other positions, but in an emergency, he can play there. Now he'll play natural positions behind the striker. Does he mean as a midfielder there, by the way, which is interesting? Or does he mean as a left winger? That's interesting. But he's not going to play left back unless it's an emergency, you know, which is good. He did talk about left back, by the way. He said, we talked, but it took 3 minutes. I said, do you have something? And Cheeky said no. I said, well, wait. We could go to the market and pay a huge amount of money, but I prefer a few months until the end of the season. We can do it without. And it's something we will see. So they talked about, they did talk about the idea of signing a left back, but Cheeky said there's nothing good, basically, I guess. Like, I think they probably got ideas, but I think they probably realised there'd be an awful lot of money. I mean, I would like it if we did it, but we just don't really sign big players in January. Occasionally, if they've got a release clause like Laporte, but it's sort of not what we really do, is it? It isn't. Guys, please hit the like button, by the way, in the video. Let's get the likes up. It would be massively appreciated. Kean said the only win he can think of is 2017, where we spent more than the other teams usually do. I think that's true. But, you know, it rarely happens. People forget it doesn't really happen. City rarely are the highest spenders. We're just not. We were at one point, but we're not anymore. Maybe we're too soft. Maybe we should spend more. Peroni at left back. Yeah, Kean, it's going to happen, by the way. I'm almost certain it's going to happen at one point. And no, you're all right there. I don't want Bertrand. He talked about left-back options. It's a bit harsh on Sergio. He said Nathan can play there, Aymeric can play there, Rico can play there, and of course Sergio. And Sergio Gomez right at the end, you know, which is a bit of a shame. But he feels like very much he's leaving a message there. By the way, I don't think Peroni will be involved. I think he'll be on the bench potentially, depending on numbers, but I don't think he's going to be involved in, like, starting or anything like that. He talked about Kane and Erling. He said, I'm extremely happy with Erling Haaland. Of course, Tottenham are happy with Kane. He's an exceptional player. The numbers he has done, more than the goals, but the quality. They haven't won a title, but so he's not a good player. He has proved in statistics that it isn't in the titles. He is one of the best strikers I've seen in my life. Our manager's bad if they don't win titles. Well, actually, some people would say yes, Guardiola. Tottenham are happy to have him, and we're happy with Erling can give us many years. Yeah, I agree. He was asked about Porro as well and so on. But basically, he talked an awful lot about it, about City and how we're gonna, he had a lot to say and he was quite feisty. I am expecting a reaction here from Man City. Like, what kind of lineup do we all think? Now, I'll get the ones that we know. Ederson is going to play. Ake, in my opinion, is going to play. So that's why I hadn't talked about Akanji, by the way. I defend Akanji all the time on Twitter. I'm not sure. People always act like Akanji's hated on Twitter for some reason. It's fucking nonsense. Akanji's a great player. I think the thing is about Akanji is that, and I don't mean this in a negative way, I think he's rarely the outstanding one. Akanji's just consistently good, and I don't mean that as a criticism. He's just consistently a good player. And that's the thing about Akanji is, I don't often feel the urge to jump in and defend Akanji because I'm not really astounded by him. I'm always like, yeah, he's Akanji. He's good. He's reliable. But Akanji's excellent, and someone said he was English, which is not fair, man. Come on. I'm so sick of this, by the way. I get it all the time on my videos, bringing nationalities into it. Anyone who watches my channel for any period of time knows that I don't give a shit about nationalities. I never have done. I'm not a xenophobe, man. I just praise players of any nationality if they are good or not. So give it a rest. There's no agenda with me at any point because I'm just not that kind of person. And if I was that kind of person, let's be honest, you wouldn't be watching my channel because you would have realised by now. But I'm not, never have been, and you guys deep down know that. So less of that shit. Akanji's just blended in nicely. And we know he's just a really good player. And we know he's done excellent things. And I've been really impressed with Akanji. And he's been rightfully part of the team an awful lot. So fair play to Akanji. A cracking player. He's done some wonderful things. Thanks, so I hate it because people always just do it. Oh, you don't mention him because he's not English. Come on, man. I'm not that guy. I never have been that guy. I'm not fucking Mr. UKIP here, am I? You know what I mean? I'm a nice person who just wants to talk about football. So, that is not me. It never has been. Let's just focus on actual good players. Anyway, so I think Akanji's going to play. Akanji will play. I actually think Laporte will play this game. If Laporte plays, by the way, I think I'd rather see him here. I think Rico Lewis is going to play, unfortunately, for Kyle Walker, which means he'll play there, and I think this will be Rodri. I can see Lewis basically being... The reason I think Laporte will play, by the way, my logic is because my logic is basically because we haven't got Stones. I want Diaz to play, by the way, but this is really unfortunate because we haven't got Stones. I feel like we're going to need a more basically distribution, as Kareem's just pointed out. I do think we're going to need someone who can pass the ball a little bit better. So I think it'll be Akanji will play, but I think Laporte will play on this side. Rico Lewis, I think, will play here. So we're going to see this shape again. Do we think we'll see Alvarez at the top of this pile? I'm not sure we will do. This will be, it's sort of like this, isn't it, really? Mahrez is going to play. HAALAND is going to play. Isn't he? Let's be honest. Is Grealish going to play, guys? Now, try and think what should we do? What will we do? That's what we need to work out here. I think we will play Grealish personally. I think Grealish is going to play because he's in good form. Guardiola loves him, which means Foden on the bench. To be fair, given he's not playing much, I think this is probably inevitable. I have a feeling Bernardo's going to play this game. I can see Bernardo here and De Bruyne there. I think Bernardo, he had a good cameo the other day, and I think Bernardo will play this game. Kian reckons De Bruyne on the bench. I don't think so, man. After a week off, I can see it being De Bruyne because he's very rested. So I think it's going to be something like this. I think Gundogan's going to get slightly rested, actually, and I think Bernardo will come back into the team. It could be that we see Alvarez, Alvarez here with De Bruyne sort of alongside him, and kind of like this here where he's buzzing around. It could be like that. That might make sense. I would like Bernardo to play. I mean, I would love both to play, but for what it's worth, by the way. I would like Bernardo and Alvarez because I like the energy of that. I mean, it could be that De Bruyne sits on the bench and we go for this, which would be a really energetic midfield there, you know. It could be something like that. This is interesting. Amar Riff with the super chat. Thank you so much for the super chat as always. Says Alvarez will start over De Bruyne and rightfully so. Oh, Amar. Kevin De Bruyne is Kevin fucking De Bruyne, mate. You absolutely spicy little bastard. Like, how could you just throw him under the bus like that? You just thrown, KDB under the bus, man. But Amar, maybe you're right. I don't know. No, I think KDB's starting. Almost certainly. I do think Bernardo's going to get a start, weirdly. I've just got a feeling, Amar, and everyone else watching this, not just Amar. I've got a feeling Bernardo's going to get a start because it's just, it could be, I don't know. Surely Diaz over Akanji, Matthew? The only reason I put Akanji out here because I think he's slightly better on the ball. I would like to see, by the way, Diaz get a game in the centre. Nothing against Ake, but I'd like to see Diaz get a game because I think he needs it. Laporte's got to be on this side just because he's a better passer. Like, if you haven't got stones, it has to be a good passer. Akanji's been too good to drop, says Kareem. He's pocketed Kane last time. Akanji's a certain starter. I think Guardiola really rates him. It's going to be one of Diaz or Ake here, and I think it'll be Laporte because of his passing. This could be Walker, but I don't see it for some reason. Maybe it could be. Maybe the pace, maybe the pace of Walker against Son and Kulusevski and Kane or whatever could be the reason that he plays. If so, I would like to see Walker more traditionally overlapping with Bernardo a little bit deeper. And if that's the point there, by the way, this will be De Bruyne. And I think it'll be more like that. Bernardo a little bit deeper alongside him. I think it'll be more like this, if so. If it's Walker. There's plenty of different ways you can play. I don't really know. I don't really know how we're going to go. But I am curious to see how this works. So, it could be something like that, man, if it's Walker with Bernardo there. Maybe. Something like that. It's going to be hard to say. Let's see how it goes. All I know is that they're going to play aggressively. They're going to play on the counter-attack. And we need City to be... Faisal, hello, mate. I just realised, Chris, sorry, there was the team. I brought it up. I forgot to put the wrong screen on. Yeah, I put the wrong screen on. Apologies. I do think this is going to be a good performance from City. I'm confident. I actually am confident. I think we're going to be up for it. I think we're going to be aggressive. I think we'll be in their face. And I think we need to be. I'm expecting a little bit of magic. And I'm expecting us to finally break our fucking duck at Spurs. We haven't scored at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium yet. And I think we will do. I am going for actually a comfortable 3-1 victory. I think City will be good. I think they'll turn up. I think they'll score. They always score against us. But I do really... I expect City to turn up today. And I think tomorrow, and I think Haaland will score a couple of goals. And I reckon I'm going to go for Bernardo to score. He's due a goal, Bernardo. I think he'll play and I think he'll score a goal. And I think he'll deserve it. And I can't wait. But guys, they are my predictions. I will be live tomorrow for the watch long, of course, as always. I'm starving. I'm going to have some breakfast. Thanks for watching this video. Let me know your predictions in the comments below. Don't forget, by the way, check out the Football Prizes competition below. And I've started doing stuff for members, by the way. Some more bonus videos. So if you want to catch some bonus videos and all this kind of stuff, I know not everyone can afford it, but members, there'll be videos available for you guys. Extra bonus ones. Only quick little daily vlog kind of videos. And of course, you get access to the fan view live as well. So it's appreciated. If you can't, don't worry. But if you can, check out the pinned comment. Don't forget, either way, like this video and hit the subscribe button. It's massively appreciated. And have a wonderful Saturday. And I'll catch you tomorrow for the game. Bonus videos, Callum, you dirty pervert. Anyway, cheers. Bye-bye.